Well, why did I say this? Why did I tell you these things? God sent me because God drawed it out in time. He drawed the revelations in time. By my wife being a foolish woman at that point in time, she enrolled into wisdom. And using these things against me, she waged war on me, just like the peoples of the earth waged war on God without a valid reason. God created and He manufactured this earth upon for His own glorification and not to the glory of man. He blessed man according to His word spoken of in Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2, and commanded them that they be keepers of the earth, and He had placed everything in their dominion. But then He requested of them to not to pursue the knowledge of good, of good and evil. Of which don't take of the fruits of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. When transcendent and interpreted, this means do not proceed the way of technology. Because when they pursue the way of technology, this becomes a thorn in our side and a briar in our fields, that we may turn away from the things that is of truth, that protects us and be our nourishment in these troubled times. We take and destroy them and make them unfruitful, and they become poisonous to our soul and our mind, for we can't think right even if we did. Well, sorry, excuse me. I had to take them. I'm slowly driving down there. Well, later on, 1997, after she had given that crush blast, told me she was dirty bitch, and she left. First time she told me that she was going to, as she seen people coming to kill me, she wasn't gonna let me know. But the police came there, let me know that it was part of the police department, just like she said it was. Everything was coming out the way she said it. But I'm gonna skip that part. So after 1997, after I was caught up between the earth and the sun in 1995. Shortly after I got hurt, injured, a year after, in 1996, I was given a crushed glass. After she came back. In 1997, I had the effects of that glass when they firebombed my house. I felt my stomach was raw inside from that crushed glass. It affected me clear in 1997, I believe January, when they firebombed my house. I felt the burning smoke down in my stomach where the crushed glass was, and my stomach was still raw on the inside. And that's where my wife had came back, but they didn't know she came back. My daughter came back with her. They didn't know. And so when they came back and were living in the same house with me, I woke my daughter and my wife up. That's how we got back together. She had came back, because she couldn't make it out there. And I was suing her for child support because my child was staying in one place, she was at another place. And she was pretending that the child was staying with her. I'm just carrying you through this. And because it's got a lot of actuality and facts, that you have to search my record even when you determine who I am and what I'm about. You have to have these records there set before you to understand how I got from point A to point B. Not bringing things up on my wife, but she is forgiven for everything. But you need these as a record and as of a reference to how I can be, because it's important because I am a prophet sent by God and showing you how these things transcended, but it came from Bible prophet. Now, after they burned my house down, that quite naturally, 1997, we had to relocate because I had no house. I stayed down in my camper trailer, and then the drug dealers and the young men that I knew came down there and moved down there with me, and I had to stay from the place there because I was homeless. I had became homeless up this high one day, and that down low the next day. But I still held my integrity towards my children. At the end of the month, when I got my check, I hope I paid the rent at my daughters, which was going to school, and kept them something to drive while they was going to school at University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, and paid from Hope, my younger daughter, who was going to school there. But I ended up moving to Fayetteville, Arkansas, in an apartment up there. But my wife, 1997, my wife kept telling me when I went to the hospital still in 1997, after my house at Five Farm, I ran to Danville, Illinois, came back to Fayetteville, and me and my wife, she moved back together. 1997, had a lot of mileage on this body in 1997, running here and there because I had no house, because they had burnt my house down in Pine Bluff. I was homeless, but I had to go have surgery. So once I rented me a house in Fayetteville, I went to Texas, and I had the surgery did there in Texas. But when I had the surgery and came back at this apartment, my wife told me that the 9 men almost got a case built against you, and they're gonna come up here and put handcuffs on you and take you back to Pine Bluff and put you in prison. Well, how you got a case built against me, and I'm fresh out of back surgery. I'm got walking with a walker. How do you have a case built against me? And I'm living in there because you done burned my house down there in Pine Bluff. So God began to talk to me. He talked to me and told me to go back to Pine Bluff. My mother had been fell dead sick, and she was on her bed of affliction. I went on and bought this house on 28th Street, 713 West 29th Street, where I went to yesterday to visit. So these things had value because after 2007 was over, 2008-7, I went to court on my walker, and we made a settlement. And in the first part of 2008, I bought me a new Dodge Ram so I can have something to drive to. But I called my brother and gave him this other. I'm taking you through this here because it has significant fact what's going on and how I came to be in Bible prophecy. So I went to see my mother down there the year of 2008 because I bought the house. So I moved back to Pine Bluff. My wife moved back to Pine Bluff, and I had to made a settlement, and everything was clear in the courts in St. Louis. So my wife gets out there. I bought my young girl a new car, and I bought myself this truck. And later on, I would buy my older child, buy my wife a new Honda Passport. Now, Pine Bluff, they decided they weren't going to let me stay there. They burnt the house down on me, and I bought this part over there where I went yesterday to see. This is where I'm taking you to here. We got to go back through this part and take you through this part to show you what transpired upon my behalf. And done so, my mother was on her bed sick and was down. I came in, told her all the things. I said, hold on till I can send and get your other children because I got paid for my injuries, what they was trying to take. So I sent and got all of her children. Some she hadn't seen in 15 years. And when they came to see her and found out my mother just wanted buttermilk,